Hey everyone, Len Kabasinski here of Killer Wolf Films and welcoming you to a brand new Fist of the Filmmaker podcast. Fist of the Filmmaker podcast, generally a catch-all, right? Sometimes I'll talk about my experiences in indie film that are going back, 20 years now, right? So, 20 years since the Swamp Zombie days, right? More on that in a minute. But, or sometimes I'll answer questions from fans, things like that. So today we'll have a little bit of both, I think, as I kick this off. So, as always, the best way to support my works, Patreon. Patreon.com/KillerWolfFilms. All my movies are on there. Downloads, watch them, watch my podcast, guest spots on other shows like I did the Salty Nerd podcast a couple months ago. Did some fun stuff out there. We even did a Forgotten Movie Den kind of thing with Salty Nerd. It's all on my Patreon. We talk about the movie Bad Moon, one of my favorite werewolf films of all time. So, but yeah, check out my Patreon. Always stuff happening. I've been putting up like raw footage clips from the mini DV days, even kind of thing. So check them out. Always something going on my Patreon. So patreon.com/KillerWolfFilms. Thank you so much. Today on this podcast, I'm going to talk a few things. I got some questions from some fans. This comes from Twitter. There might be a Reddit one thrown in there somewhere. I try to check my messages there as often as I can, kind of thing, and get back to people. So, but now I'm getting back to you today via Patreon and YouTube here. So we'll kick it off. A funny thing was going on lately, a couple months ago, I think it started, where I made a post about Tubi TV and Tubi TV originals. Their originals always suck. They do. I know they've jumped into like the shark gimmick now, where they do a lot of Tubi original shark movies. Or you get all these indie filmmakers now rushing, I want to be a Tubi original. I want to be a Tubi original. Really? Because they all suck. And if somebody thinks they're that moment or whatever where you're gonna save the Tubi original brand label, whatever, great, super, because I have not watched one good Tubi original ever, but this is where I want the audience participation here. Comment on the Patreon for this video, comment on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube, put it in the comments, what Tubi TV original, and I realize that a lot of these aren't produced by them. They acquire them and then slap the label on it. But what Tubi TV original have you watched that you liked, that you think other people should watch? I've seen Swim. I've seen all the shark gimmick ones. Really, I know they're always popping up on there. A new one just came on there, and I don't even remember what it's called. But I watched it, and it again wasn't very good. What low budget shark movies, indie shark movies, or low budget shark movies are really. I like Bait, but that's kind of a higher budget one. I think that was made in Australia. That movie's probably, at least 10 years old now, right? I did like Bait. Again, not a Tubi TV original. So tell me which ones are good and which ones I should watch and which other the viewers watching this video should check out. Tubi TV originals. I just watched one, too. And again, I don't remember the name of it, but if you search the IMDb for their credits or something, you're going to find it. It's with Michael Jai White. They played Spawn years ago, right? The Villain in Exit Wounds with Steven Seagal, the last good Steven Seagal movie, in my opinion. Michael Jai White's in it. Mickey Rourke, who kind of looks like an alien, I guess, in it. He's not playing an alien. He's just himself or whatever. But yeah, he's in it. He doesn't look physically super well. I know he hasn't for a little while with the surgeries and stuff. But yeah, it's really bad. It's an action film, I guess. But check it out. I don't remember the name of it. Somebody will chime in. Tubi TV original starring Michael Jai White and Mickey Rourke. It just came out within the last year, I would imagine. So, but I watched that and was pretty disappointed. Mickey Rourke has a fight scene or two, and actually, he can still move. He still is a fit dude and everything, and they're good. But again, another failure for a Tubi TV original, in my opinion. But I want to know which ones are good, so let me know. Looking at other questions here, somebody chimed in, and I believe this was on Twitter. Somebody just private messaged me, and I'm sorry because it got kicked into my junk folder there or something. So, but anyways, it's about, we all know you're a karate guy, Len, but what other sports do you watch? Do you watch other sports? Well, I guess this is appropriate because football had just started, right? College football, pro football. Actually, yes, I do. I will follow football. I am a lifelong Seattle Seahawks fan. My German Shepherd, who was almost 14, that passed away last summer, his name was Largent, so, there you go. But I'm a lifelong Seattle Seahawks fan. I'm a 12. So, yeah, Of sports, I mean, my mom liked the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, I'm in Erie, Pennsylvania. We're about 2 hours, maybe a little less, north of Pittsburgh. So she was a big Steeler fan, that kind of stuff. The rest of my family likes the Steelers and things. So I can take it or leave it. But the Seattle Seahawks are my favorite team. Have been most of my life. So in baseball, yes, I don't religiously watch it. I enjoy going to games, but lately, I am a lifelong Pittsburgh Pirates fan. Yes, I know. I accept your condolences, but I am a lifelong Pittsburgh Pirate fan. I do enjoy going to PNC Park, but lately, whenever I've been to PNC Park, it's been for a concert, much like Guns N' Roses, which I was just there a few weeks back. Guns N' Roses had played PNC Park there where the Pirates played, but I am a lifelong Pittsburgh Pirates fan. Other sports, yeah, I'll get into hockey. Usually, it seems like everyone makes the playoffs in hockey, except my team, which didn't last year, which usually did. As you can guess, it is the Pittsburgh Penguins. I am a Penguins fan. Generally, the first couple months of hockey, I don't get super into it. I might watch a game here and there kind of thing, but I'm not somebody that's going to watch it every other night kind of thing. But I do like the Pittsburgh Pirates. UFC I'll watch, but I've kind of been more, not so much into it. Most of the guys I liked, almost you could say pioneers, right? MMA. They're kind of getting out of the sport, retiring, getting older, that kind of stuff. The GSPs and obviously Anderson Silva's and those kinds of competitors are they're old and they're done. So I don't watch it as much as I used to or enjoy it as much as I used to, but I'll watch it once in a while, sure. But those are the kind of other sports. Baseball, like I said, Pirates, hockey, the Penguins, football, the Seattle Seahawks, and I went to Pitt. So, we just went to the Pitt game last weekend where they lost to Cincinnati there, but it was an ugly offensive performance from the Pittsburgh Panthers. So, but I do go to a lot of Pitt Panther games with my family and stuff like that. So I will follow college sports. So college football, college basketball stuff, especially Pitt. So those games I'll religiously, watch when they're on kind of thing or tune in to them. So that's, I hope, answers your sports question there. Next question, and hopefully I kind of paraphrased this for you. I'm sorry, but it was, Len, I admire your tenacity in doing the things that you love to do, but dear God, how do you find the time and energy for it all? Well, I guess to recap, yeah, now I teach at my karate dojo, Iron Phoenix Martial Arts, which just started this past week. It's out of like a movement clinic kind of thing, so it used to be used for yoga and things like that. Now I don't know what so much. I mean, they might do some photography and stuff in there too, because it's out of a historic building in downtown Erie. I had actually filmed several parts of films there. It's a giant 5-story building, tons of offices and cool things in it, but out of the PACA building in downtown Erie there. But that's where my dojo, Iron Phoenix Martial Arts is. So I got that going on now along with my two kids, my beautiful two kids, Ariel and Kane. Kane's 14 now, right? He's 14, my autistic son Kane. But yeah, he's doing good. He just took 2 first places at a national karate tournament. So good on Kane. Everybody's doing well. Ariel just won the 7 and 8-year-old. She just turned 9, so she's out of that division now, but she just won the 7 and 8-year-old weapons professional karate commission weapons division national champion. So and I took home the Triple Crown, but that's enough about me. That was the hardest thing I've done in my life, and I've seen a sick mom, an autistic child, all this kind of stuff, but winning 3 separate divisions within Pro Karate Commission for the season, winning those 3 national titles in 3 different divisions all in one season. That's pretty much the hardest thing I might have done in my life. And not filmmaking, not taking care of a sick mom or autistic child. Winning 3 national titles was probably the hardest thing I did in my life. It's a lot of life on the road, in and out of hotels, which I never sleep well in. I just don't. I don't care how nice they are. I just don't sleep in hotels very well. But anyways. But yeah, aside from that, I also work full time. I had, about a year and a half ago, got out of physical therapy rehab, which I had worked in. Sorry, I haven't worked at PetSmart. I know people that are just tuning in. Hey, you worked at PetSmart. No, I never worked at PetSmart. I've been a Fed for like over 16 years now. But even before that, I was working in physical therapy rehab. But I went federal and worked in rehab there. But about a year and a half ago, I went into whole health and wellness coaching. So that's what I do now, and I am a nationally certified health and wellness coach. So that is kind of my full-time day job, so I have that going on as well. So yeah, and I make time to work out on my own. I've been a Snap Fitness member forever, where I generally, lift weights and do some cardio work outside of the dojo kind of stuff to stay in shape. So yeah, it is a lot going on. And where do I find the motivation, I guess, or energy of it all? I mean, I don't know. A lot of it's stuff I like, you know. If people want to work out but hate it or find it a chore or displeasurable, or they're probably not going to do it, right? Or they're not going to stick with it. These are all things I've kind of enjoyed. Obviously, martial arts, which has given me a lot in my life. You know, they're all things I kind of enjoy, and you want to make time for them. And I think that's the thing. I think the big thing is just balance and schedule management. It seems like a lot of stuff, like this person saying, "Dear God, how do you do it all?" You know, really, it's schedule management, time management, and then making sure you fit in those things. You know, in the grand scheme of things, if I want to go to the gym and lift 3 times a week, how long am I really there for? The gym is 5 minutes from my house. You know, I'm there an hour, 75 minutes tops. You know, if I figure if you're working out longer than that, you're not working out intensely enough. You know, so yeah, I spend an hour, 75 minutes tops, 3 days a week. You break that into your whole work week. How much time is that really? Probably not very much. You know, so make good use of it, kind of thing. And that's the way I deal or teach. You know, at Iron Phoenix, the martial arts school there. You know, we're there an hour and a half twice a week. In the grand scheme of things, that's not very long, is it? So when we're there, we're gonna get to work, kind of thing. So you know, and being a dad, it's that balance. I think the most difficult thing, not difficult, but the thing I'm very aware of is I have to let my kids be kids. So it's not all competition, compete. We're going to tournaments here and there. We're going to win all these trophies. We're going to do this. No. It's a balancing act. I want them to be kids and enjoy things too. An example of this, I went to the national karate tournament. I had gold tickets because I'm a national champion, which means I would be seated last in my divisions. And that's always the kind of spot you want, especially in forms and stuff. Fighting, if you want to get warmed up and move around, maybe you don't want last, but you know, whatever. But yeah, some of the judging came under fire and stuff like that. It's subjective in any sport where you're getting a score, you know, from a judge. But there were some things that going on. A lot of people were upset about, and I saw some of it on Saturday because it's a 2 or 3 day, you know, competition with divisions on different days. And after Saturday, you know, I did weapons and I bronzed in that, and then you know, I seen things and I thought, man, you know, my kids were pretty much just about done competing. And I thought, you know what, I'm throwing my other gold tickets in the trash and I'm just going to take them to the zoo and the science center, and we're going to have a fun little mini vacation out of this in Columbus. And that's what we did. And I don't regret it for a second. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's that balancing act. You know, if I waited all day for me to compete, we would have been at the tournament till, who knows, 5 or 6 o'clock at night. We would have, you know, had dinner, lounged, got up, repeated, you know, and no, we went to the science center and the zoo and it was a good time. So, you know, it's that balancing act, you know, so I think that's how I do it. Next question, this will be quick, is someone asked about pets. What kind of pets do I have? Somebody must have saw me post my dog or something. I have a 1-year-old puppy. He's probably 105 pounds already. He's an old school-bred German Shepherd, where they're a little bigger than the others, or a large bone. But I usually don't like saying large bone because then people think of humans that are larger, and they're like, well, their skeletal mass isn't exactly humongously bigger, kind of thing. But no, large bone shepherds, their backs stay kind of straight, their spine in the back. Their hind end doesn't slope down like you'd see from like a canine unit shepherd or something. More often than not, their rear ends kind of slope in the back, where a shepherd's spine stays, a large bone shepherd's, their spine is straight. And that usually makes them about 20 or 30 pounds heavier, you know, than what you would think, you know, a canine shepherd would look like, kind of thing. So, but that's Thor. My pet's Thor. He just turned a year old, literally 3 days ago, something like that. So he was born on 9/11. How about that? So he's a year old. We got a bunch of rescue cats. Every single one of them are rescues from somewhere, whether it's a shelter or they were Pet Supply Plus or something like that. So there's lots of cats. I don't remember all their names. Loki is one of them, obviously, because he's easy to remember because he likes me. He's one of the only cats that like me in the house. He'll lounge on me and stuff. The other ones run around and hide and stuff. So, hey, whatever. So, but we have 4 or 5 cats. Thor, 2 snakes. Plissken, who is our oldest snake. Plissken is probably, she had babies right when we got her, actually. But Plissken is probably 6 years old now, something like that. So Plissken's our oldest, and then our other snake, Sliver. I'm sorry. Sliver is probably, he's littler. He's probably 2 years old, maybe something like that. But both are pretty much fully grown now and things. So they're not like massive snakes or whatever. Plissken's like an Eastern ribbon, so she's maybe, I don't know, 3 feet long max kind of thing. And the other one's probably, 2 feet or so, but he's kind of thinner and stuff. Plissken's a bigger girl. But we're 2 snakes, and then we have a bearded dragon we got several months back here, and that's Ozzy. So anytime I talk to him, I try to speak like Ozzy Osbourne and stuff when I talk to Ozzy, our bearded dragon. So he's maybe a year and a half old or so he's not fully grown yet. But so that's, I think I've covered them all, right? I think that's all the pets that are in my house. There's a lot of them. This question I get a lot, whether it's Twitter or even Facebook or, I get this question a lot, and I paraphrased it. It's advice for someone looking to get started. I have all these cool ideas, and I've always wanted to do a film, but I don't know what I'm doing or where to start. Well, hey, I've kind of been there. But, don't do what I did, basically, 20 years ago. Wow, this could be its own podcast, but I've jotted down some quick things that if you're looking to get started, what are Len's basics for shooting your movie for the first time? 1, obviously keep a low budget. You're not going to make your money back, most likely. I get it. Someone's going to say, it's Clerks. They will charge our $27,000 on credit cards, and we're going to make millions off of it. Hey, cool. I mean, if you got the means to go that direction. My friend just messaged me the other day about his movie Zombiegeddon that was shot before Swamp Zombies. You know what? At least 20 years ago now, right? Zombiegeddon's got a massive cast of B-movie names. Bob Zadar, Brink Stevens, Tom Savini. They all have cameos and stuff in that film. And he's like, well, it's on Tubi now, Zombiegeddon. Go check it out. I have a cameo. If you can spot me, good for you. I do have a cameo in it. So I'm much younger. Len has a cameo in it. Yeah, but he told me, Zombiegeddon, it's still $1,500 in debt. And we know $1,500 isn't a lot of money. But when your budget might be $10,000 or $12,000, $1,500 kind of is a little chunk of that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I say keep a low budget because you're not going to make it back when your movie gets on Tubi. You're not going to make it back, certainly, when your movie's on Amazon Prime, where you will get a penny for every 3 hours watched or whatever ridiculously low amount you make from it. I've been there, people. So, keep your budget low and keep that in perspective. If you want to do a vanity project and you've got X number of dollars that you just can blow and don't worry about recovering or anything like that, hey, man, go for it then. But for those that have to be a little more budget conscious in our personal lives and things, and have other things we have to, a mortgage, a car, or whatever, I would keep the budget low. What that means is going to be different to every single person. Going back almost 20 years when I did Swamp Zombies, Swamp Zombies never made its money back. And it probably had a budget of, I don't know, $12,000, kind of thing. But a lot of that was equipment and things like that. Equipment, makeup, we didn't know what we were doing, cameras, you name it, kind of thing. We did have a boom mic, I promised people. I don't think the sound in Swamp Zombies is terrible. There's other films where maybe it's not so good and stuff where we tried other things. But regardless, rule number 1, in no specific order, to answer your question, keep a low budget because you're not going to make it back probably, okay? That being said, you have a budget of $5 or $6 grand, the right distributor here and there, you might be able to make that back in a couple of years kind of thing. That's pretty much something like Angel of Reckoning would have done. The film where I believe it was like a turning point and I started making better things around that time. But then I also got smart saying, hey, I don't really make a lot back from these distributors. I got to keep my budget down or I'm not going to film again. Because I've seen that many times. You don't have a specific budget. You make your film. You go into ridiculous debt from it. You're not making any money back. And you don't make another movie. And nobody really wants that. You know what I mean? I want you guys making movies. I want you getting your ideas out there. So keep your budget low. 2, this kind of goes in line with that. Keep a low cast number, man. If you're going to be doing a lot of the work, you don't want to coordinate 85 extras or 30 extras or something like that. And we'll get back to that in a minute. But back in the day, especially when I couldn't pay people and it was all volunteer work and stuff like that in the early days. Yeah, it's tough. And I had great people that helped me out. So I got no complaints there whatsoever. But yeah, it's really tough. Working around people's personal lives and work schedules just to be extras to come populate your nightclub or, whatever, be a zombie or, those kinds of things. It's tough. I would highly suggest writing a story or, whatever film you're trying to make. condense that cast so you don't have tons and tons of people. I would say principal type actors definitely no more than, obviously your lead or two, and then, maybe 3 or 4 like starring roles kind of thing. And then the rest can be kind of sprinkled throughout. But I would not go for a big cast. And when I mean big cast, I mean principal characters that are 10, 12, characters kind of thing. That'd be kind of tough, I think. But my suggestion is, keep your budget low, keep your cast number low. Don't have a ton of extras because it's going to be really hard to coordinate, especially if you have no money and can't offer them anything. So I was able to offer a few bucks to people that came out to be extras in Pact of Vengeance. And let me tell you, I don't think I'll ever go back to trying not to pay my extras. And I mean, in the early days, you have zero money and stuff, but we had a tiny budget to work with Pact of Vengeance. And I was able to say, hey, come out and you get $60. I mean, hell, a SAG rate is $100 on a multi-billion-dollar movie or whatever. Extras are getting like $100. So, I tried to offer $50, $60, whatever it was, to people that came out, and everybody showed up. I think I only had one like stripper woman no show the second day or something like that. But hey, whatever. We had it covered, and it was a good deal. If you can offer money to your extras and things like that, you might be able to get some people to come and be extras. Much like people have heard the Space Cop story where they offered beer and strippers at a strip club they were filming, and nobody came out. And that's those guys, let alone little old me here. So, you know what I'm saying? Have a tight runtime. Be conscious of no one likes a boring indie movie. Especially, I can guarantee you, no one likes a boring micro-budget indie movie. So keep the runtime, kind of low. And I mean, hey, if you're in the 75 to 84, now I'm talking Roger Corman, New Horizons, late 80s films, right? Direct-to-video films there, but yeah, it's a very direct-to-video runtime, 83 minutes, 84 minutes, whatever. But I think if you stay between 75 and 83, 84 minutes kind of thing, that's a good runtime for a low-budget, let alone micro-budget type film. And I think mine lately have been right around that area. Blood Prism was probably that. When I was conscious in that film that, when there's no fight scenes in this, it's not an action movie, so we got to jam-pack it with, gore and TNA and sprinkle that throughout so it's never boring and stuff. And I don't think Blood Prison's boring, but that's for you guys to decide. But my run times I think lately have been pretty tight. Hellcat's Revenge 1 and 2, Blood Prison, Challenge of 5 Gauntlets, Pact of Vengeance. These are all hour and 15 to 24 minute kind of things. So but yeah, it's just my advice. Work on your pacing early so you're not making long boring movies like I did at the beginning, not realizing, hey, if I do this or this, I can really pace this and keep it moving, and people won't be as pissed off at me for watching it, kind of thing. So keep your runtime tight. 2 more to go. In my advice to going out and making your own movie, the short version, because we could probably do several podcasts on this and just take it apart one by one. But for now, next one. Keep your locations easy, something you can acquire. You know what I mean? If you're not working with a film commission or something, which I got to do several times, and it's super awesome. They go out and find me something. Hey, here's his contact. They're very film friendly. Off I go. I've landed a jail from that. I've landed a lumberjack museum from that. I mean, I've landed cool things from working with the Pennsylvania, where I'm at, the Pennsylvania Film Commission. So I've got nothing but glowing things to say about those guys and girls. So keep your locations easy. Do stuff you can get. You can't write Speed if you don't have a bus. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I'm saying? Write to stuff you're going to be able to get, kind of thing. I think that's important. It'll make your life much, much, much easier. Or, if you have the budget, pay for some of your locations, and that'll do. Go to rentals in places that are going to let you film. Hey, mine's set in a theater, and they're going to charge me $100 to rent it out for several hours. Well, hey, there you go. Pay them and then go in and do your thing, kind of thing. Paying for locations is definitely worth it because it'll be less of a headache. But I was able to do that on Pact of Vengeance, where we went out to L.A. To Burbank near Leo's house there, and film on some studio sets for the hospital set in Pact of Vengeance. That's all legit Hollywood studio stuff. So but again, it's paying for stuff, and it's less of a headache kind of thing. But get locations you have access to, or easy access to. That's why every single micro budget film films in the woods, right? Come on now. And I would say, last but not least, I guess, camera quality matters on a micro budget indie. Take it for somebody that's already made all these mistakes. You try to use some kind of DLSR camera with a lens and things like that. Even if you only have 2 lenses, it's going to be to your benefit to have like a 35 millimeter and an 85 millimeter for close-ups and things like that. Those 2 lenses are really, I think, all you need. I mean, for a micro budget, type project and things, get a lensed camera, 35 millimeter, 85 millimeter, it'll look slick. Now everything's 4K, 6K, 8K, 20K, whatever stuff is going to. I filmed several movies on this podcast is being filmed on it, but I'm not trying to really go cinematic with it. But this podcast is filmed on the Canon C100, the camera that I would have filmed Hellcat's Revenge 2 on, Challenge of 5 Gauntlets on. They were filmed on that. Swamp Zombies 2, I think, was filmed on a similar camera, if not the C100. But yeah, get a lens camera. Work on some lighting type stuff. You'll look slick for a micro budget, because a lot of stuff looks like, peruse micro budget on Tubi TV sometime. You'll see the cell phone looking stuff or the really shitty VHS looking stuff. We don't have to do that now in 2023. There's the easier options. So yeah. And to recap my answer to you in short form, in no set order, keep a very low budget because you won't make your money back. Keep a low number of cast members or characters in your project. It'll just make your life much easier, not trying to coordinate 85 people. Have a tight runtime. Don't be boring. Nobody likes boring micro budget stuff, so don't be boring. Easy locations. Get stuff you can get. And the last but not least, a piece of equipment that would be worth your $2,000, $3,000 total would be get your Canon C100, or it's HD, but I mean, obviously if you can go 4K, do that. The Blackmagic, Pact of Vengeance was filmed on the Blackmagic 4K, the Pocket 4K from them. So, and again, I think we had 35 and 85 millimeter lenses, and maybe a shot or two we had a 24 millimeter lens, but we didn't use that very much. But anyways, lens cameras matter. It's worth it, to put in your budget to something like that to make your project look slick. So there's my answer to the last question we'll do today on this episode of Fist of the Filmmaker. So please, if you have not checked it out, the best way to support my works, patreon.com/killerwolffilms. All my stuff's on there. Movies, podcasts, guest spots, you name it. It's on there. You should check it out. So have a good one, everybody, and we will see you soon.